welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast and my third favorite podcast. It's Lexx Education with the comedy science brain of the one and only me. Laura's not here this week. She is in Italy at illustrator of the podcast, Matthew Grant's wedding. So pause for applause for Matthew. Wonderful. So we've got a solo intros, outros from me. We've taken a big summer sabbatical here at the pod, and we haven't let it affect our output in terms of regularity, maybe in terms of quality. And we were supposed to be recording tomorrow morning. However, it turns out that was too much because Laura's in Italy. It would have required me to get up at 7 a.m. to record it before going to a festival that I'm going to. And it wasn't even me, guys, that was like, no, I can't do that. Laura actually said, no, I can't do that. I was fully ready, but she said no. But now I'm here. Anyway, I should do a sound check, make sure this sounds good. I'd wager it sounds fine. Right, I honestly don't remember what this episode was about. I checked the spreadsheet, and apparently it's chemistry. I don't know if Laura's made a massive error here, but I don't know if we recorded a quiz for this episode. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, because I think it's the one that we did very little science, to be honest, in this ep. I'm not sure that we've recorded a quiz for it. What I might do from my solo circumstances here is just record a little quiz with answers, and then Laura, when she edits this onto the app, can splice that on. I think that might be the best thing. So I'll let you get on with the episode in a sec. Just want to say love you guys. Patreon episode out next week. It's the return of sister of the podcast, Meg, who's everyone's favourite. So do get on board for the Patreon for that. We play some silly games. It's Meg v me, although I think we work together on most of them because we're a collaborative pair. So yes, get on the Patreon for that, and get on the episode for this.
Okay, Ron. We've been apart.
It's been a long time.
Well, it's been about 2 weeks, hasn't it? Not our longest ever break.
Yeah.
But the world has changed while we've been away. 1st of August is the last time. It's been 3 weeks.
It has.
Jeez, Maurice. 23rd of August now. You were in Italy for 2 weeks?
Yep.
You
were in Edinburgh, and you're off to Italy tomorrow.
Yep. Illustrator of the podcast's wedding.
Where are you going in Italy?
Fly into Rome, and then we're staying in a little village outside Rome.
We just flew from Rome.
Yeah. I gotta go there tomorrow. Got a stupidly early flight, and then the bus to the wedding venue is not till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So got one of those days strolling around Rome with a suitcase. Ron, I'm absolutely obsessed with the New York Times puzzles at the moment.
Oh yeah, which one's a vibing?
Spelling bee. It's just tickling my pickle at the moment.
Oh, so you know when I went on a holiday, you gave me the challenge of finishing a whole puzzler.
Yeah.
I did finish all of the interesting puzzles in a puzzler, including getting 2 excellent scores on what is essentially, like the word wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2
nice
excellents.
Nice work, Ron.
Although the puzzler I chose far too many word searches, and word searches are just not fun.
No, they're not. Neither are spot the differences, but you do have to get them done. You have to eat your greens.
I did a lot of them, but I left them all till the end. There were no spot the differences in mine. What they did have is like those word grids, where you just got to fit a load of words into the pattern. Those also not fun.
No, okay. Okay, what I'm learning about you is you don't like jumbles of letters.
Well, word search is just like, oh, there's the word. And then the code grid, or whatever they're called, the word grid, like, it's fine, but there are very few times where you have to, go a level above. It's usually, yep, that's the one word that can go there. Okay, which is the one word that can go here? That's the one word. And I don't like that. I really got into my code words.
I love a code word.
Really got into that because you can do that while you're like listening to a podcast or something. Whereas I find a crossword a bit more difficult with the podcast on in the background because, you got to be doing a bit more thinking.
You've got to think. You simply have to think.
Yeah.
I feel a bit cross this morning.
Why?
I got back from the Edinburgh Fringe yesterday and I delivered some groceries because I didn't have the car to go and get any because husband and child of the podcast were away.
Where are they?
And so I did a little deal at Sainsbury's, 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's for £12, and I thought, lovely. And they didn't deliver the Ben & Jerry's.
That's bullshit.
And now they're not responding to my complaints.
Well, that at least gives you license to just eat 2 pizzas.
Yeah, well, one of them was for husband of the podcast, but he hasn't actually eaten it yet because he's doing intermittent fasting.
Is he?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, here he comes now with my recording tea. Thanks, husband of the podcast.
You're welcome.
Say hi to T-Dog from me.
The podcast.
Ron says hi, T-Dog.
Hey, bro, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm
He
good,
says
thanks,
hi.
man.
You can hear. He says good,
I
thanks,
can't hear.
man.
Oh, he says.
He can hear you.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. You're going to see each other in like 2 weeks.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, I need to make my D&D character.
Oh, well, you won't keep it in if this isn't, but congrats.
He hasn't said anything yet.
Well, then, cut that out.
We'll edit that out. Ron's a very private man. Or we'll leave it in and people can be mystified as to what we're congratsing.
Imagine twins.
Imagine if I was having twins. I mean...
If you were going to have twins, what would you call them?
Victoria and Emma.
Ah, I thought you were going to say sponge.
Sponge.
Victoria Sponge.
Right.
Well, this is too good to edit out now.
I mean, I wasn't not saying it. I thought you were going to make a big deal out of it, to be honest.
No, Ron, I'm trying to be very respectful of putting pressure on your life. Notice how I don't talk to you anymore?
I was on holiday. We can chat again now. No, girlfriend of the podcast has become fiance of the podcast.
There's a sound effect extravaganza!
Yikes!
Ron, I'm so happy you've announced it. How chill was I being? I was being so chill, Ron.
You were being very chill.
I was being so chill. I had it all under wraps. I was being such a cool dude, respectful of boundaries. We've been having such a great time making Pinterest boards, Ron. We've planned so much of your wedding already.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, that's fine by me.
It's been wonderful. Do you want to tell the listeners how it all went down?
Yeah, sure. So it was fiance of the podcast.
Please tell me you didn't use this intonation. Please tell me you were slightly enthused.
I was very enthused.
Yeah. So what we did,
Well, it's
you
one of those
have to
funny
give this more enthusing than you give the lock and key method, Ron.
It's one of those funny ones though, because so like we you know, obviously we've done like a bunch of like phone calls telling people and stuff that you know how it happened and stuff. But I planned it all, so I knew that this was all going to happen. So it was never like so like for me the story starts maybe like 6 months ago when I started putting it all together. But no, essentially, so it was Judith's 30th birthday on the Saturday that we were in Rome. And
Sorry,
Judith
who's Judith?
loves
Do we mean fiance of the podcast?
Fiance of the podcast. It was Fiance of the podcast birthday the Saturday that we were in Rome. And she loves to plan things. So for her birthday, it was the day that I was asked to plan, so that she just on her 30th, she just didn't have to do any of that. And I was like, well, I was already planning on proposing that day, so there was like, sick, now I have complete control over the narrative. I can be secretive as I like about things without that causing any suspicion, because I've been asked to plan something basically secretly. And we're staying in a nice hotel in Rome because it was her birthday anyway, so everything was already really nice. From the pictures, I thought that there was going to be a balcony in the room, which is where I was planning on doing it. I was going to get a bottle of champagne, have that ready, and then do it there. No balcony. I knew deep in my heart that Fiance of the Podcast would want it to be done basically like first thing, so you can then just enjoy that moment all day. So you know, waiting till dinner or whatever wasn't really an option. So then what I did was I spoke to the lovely and wonderful Alice at the hotel, and I got them to open the roof terrace early, just for us. And then as we were leaving to go to a mystery activity that Fiance of the Podcast didn't know it was, rather than leaving, I was like, actually, come this way. Alice lets us onto the roof terrace. We've got a beautiful view of the skyline of Rome. You can see that horrible monstrosity that the Victor Emmanuel built. You can see like the Forum and stuff. And then I asked her to marry me. She said yes. It was a very tearful moment. We took a bunch of selfies with Alice, which was weird but nice. Weirdest bit is Alice just hasn't sent those to us, even though we asked and we left her at home. So she's got the only pictures of our proposal. Don't know why she took them on her phone. Don't know why she's not sent them to us. It's all a bit bad.
Do you want to give me the address of the hotel and I'll go and ask tomorrow?
That would actually be very nice, thank you. It's actually in the nicest neighborhood, so if you're just looking for food, we could give you loads of good recommendations.
Yeah, we have to hunt down a carbonara we had about 12 years ago.
Oh, fair play. Oh, let us know where it is. I wonder if it's one of the carbonaras that we've been gushing about.
Tom is so sure that it's closed down because he spent so much time walking around Rome on Google Street View trying to find this restaurant. He's fairly convinced it didn't make the pandemic.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
But there's a million nice carbonaras. But anyway, then the activity that I'd planned for the day was we went to the botanical garden. We held hands and walked around that a lot. We took lots of nice pictures of the ring and stuff. Then, because I'd not really been sleeping on this holiday up until this point because I was riddled with nerves. So then I had a nap after the botanical garden. And then we went to the most gorgeous restaurant in the evening, which was
God, that restaurant was insane.
Yeah, it was insane. Shout out to friend of the podcast Noah for finding that restaurant, because he helped with that. Well, actually, no, I told him what my original plan was, and to quote him, "We can do better," and then he did.
Yeah.
So that was great. He's a good friend. And then Morrissey was there. That was odd. And then we went to a bar that we'd frequented a couple of times that we were in Rome, and we made a couple of calls and we told some people, which was nice because everyone sort of on my side of the divide already knew because I'd told them, but nobody on Fiancé the podcast side. So we told some people there, and it was all very fun.
That's so exciting. Lovely stuff. Now we get to have a podcast wedding.
wedding of the podcast.
Yeah. We've never had a podcast wedding before.
No, she'll be sister-in-law of the podcast at some point.
Yeah. We
That's
never really
exciting.
talk about the other sister-in-law of the podcast, so this is great. I kind of already refer to her as my sister-in-law, to be honest, though.
Yeah, her dad's been calling me son-in-law ever since, which is cute. You've had you had a good Edinburgh, Laura. Seems it was
Yeah,
good.
I've had
Do
a
you wanna
nice
tell
time.
everyone how that went?
Oh, you know, the usual Edinburgh. Did the show. Did lots of extra shows. Came home. Yeah, it was all right.
You got nommed?
I did, not for the big main Edinburgh Award. I got nommed for a different one. I don't really know how to feel about that one though, because I was very excited to get nommed, and I was reading up about the award because I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, who are they? What is this? And it was like, oh, you know, they've got 30 judges or whatever that will go out and see the shows, and then they do a long list, and then they do a short list, and then after the short list comes out, they sort of see the shows on the short list and they decide a winner. But nobody came to see my show after the short list had been announced. So I don't know if I was just filler on the shortlist list, but
Maybe because you
yeah.
did a short run, they didn't have time.
Well, but they made it very clear, like, if your show was on between these dates, it was eligible, you know, and then it was like anybody that wasn't running in those dates wasn't eligible because they couldn't get to see them. So I don't know.
Still nice to be nommed.
Sure, very helpful publicity. I don't know if it helped sell any tickets, but
nom in the mouth.
well, yeah. The nice thing, I guess, I had quite a pressure off Edinburgh, which was quite good personal growth for me because I took Slinky, which I'd already toured, already taken to a festival.
Good
I
show.
know it's a good show. So I wasn't feeling like I was there waiting to be validated in any way. And I kind of it's been my longest ever break from Child of the Podcast. So I pretty much had it in my head, like, if you're going to be away from her for this long, you need to earn and you need to make the most of this. So I was doing like average of about 5 shows a day, just cramming earnings and promoting the show and like doing as much as I could. So that felt pretty good. And then I only had time to see 2 shows, which was a shame not to see more, but I really enjoyed the shows I did see. I saw Alice Fraser. She did a show called Passion for Passion, and it was all about her passion for like romance novels, like cheap sort of rom-com novels, and it was brilliant. And she's so scripted and precise, and she is who she is, you know, and you really like come to her. And I loved that. I really enjoyed watching somebody be absolutely resolutely themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And then I saw Danny Ward, who is just a very good friend. He's so lovely. And I went to see his show, and again, he's very precise in his delivery. And while I think I've always thought my preferred style of stand-up was really chatty people that make you believe it's the like only time it's ever happening. Watching those two, I really just enjoyed somebody that's like, this is written, this is precise, you come to me and get on board with my delivery and my style. And Danny had some just really moving stuff, which he's not an overly emotional performer. So I think having emotive stuff from a non-saccharine performer, like if I do emotive stuff, we're all like, yeah, of course, you cry when you make a cup of tea. But when somebody that is I don't know, just not usually like that, I really loved it. I just had a great time with both the shows I saw. And then I had...
It's really funny that you only saw 2 shows.
I was gigging so much.
Yeah, you got to
Like,
respect that.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, the gig schedule. I think my busiest day, I had a show from 12 till 2. I had my show at 10 to 4. I had a corporate from 6 till 7:30. I had a show from 9 till 10:30. I had a show at 11 No, a show at 10:30, a show at 11, and a show at 10 to midnight, all in one day.
That's unhinged.
Yeah, so there just wasn't time to fit in other stuff, really.
No, that's fair.
Because I thought I was going to get loads of work done too, because I was like, basically, I'd just do shows, and then I'd go back to my room, and then I'd get back to my room, and I would just be catatonic. So as a result, if you're listening to this and you're working on the Comedy Bureau, I'm so sorry I've not replied to anything or made any of those videos I was supposed to make. I was staring blankly at Clarkson's farm in a desperate bid to recuperate.
And I don't think anyone's going to take swipes at you for that.
No, I'm the boss, but I don't like feeling like I'm letting people down.
No, that's fair. It's not nice to let people down.
No, and because I'm going to Italy tomorrow, I'm like, oh, it's not even like I can get back and catch up. And then I've got one day. I've got Thursday next week. We're going to record. I'm going to try and get a load of stuff done, and then we're going camping.
Oh, you're going camping. That's nice.
Yeah, we got a couple of days in Lewis, which is exciting.
Just the trio.
No, we're going with our like parent friends, all the parents that we made friends with when we had Child of the Podcast. We're going with them, so it's a little. We did it last year, and it was really nice. Like we only go about half an hour down the road. It's really nearby, but everybody except one family has a dog, and we just pick like a family campsite and just pitch up, you know. So it's not stressful because you could go home if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's fair. That's how camping
but it's
should
nice.
be.
Yeah. It's quite a bit to get a husband of the podcast to agree to camp. He doesn't love it. So I think the thought of like going far away and aiming to be there for like a week would just be hell. So we just go for like 2 nights, half an hour down the road.
That's fair. A week's also a long time to camp.
Yeah.
I love camping, and I don't know if I'd want to camp for a week.
No, I think I could do it in a static caravan. I like that kind of thing. I like lodge living.
Yeah, but if I'm doing that, then I want that to be, you know, on a holiday. I wouldn't want to live in a static caravan half an hour away from home.
No.
I'd find
Although,
that.
if there was a nice wood and a lake and a bit of peace, I love indoor-outdoor living. Like, one of my favourite holidays me and Tom did was so simple. Don't know what year it was. Pre-Mackie, so it must have been 2019, 2018. We went to near Toulouse, down in the south of France. And we had like a lodge, and it must have been September. It was after we got back from Edinburgh. And so it was like just turning autumn, and we had this lodge with a deck, and there was nothing to do in the surrounding area, and we just sat around reading and doing puzzlers, it was just quiet, basically. That was lovely.
Yeah, that was like the last 4 days of the holiday that we just had. We just went to somewhere near the beach. We never left the hotel. We just sat near the beach. I read 200 pages of a book about ancient Rome. We finished our puzzler. We
Beautiful.
ate and we slept.
I just bought a massive book about Constantinople.
Ooh. Exciting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another big trip for you.
Yeah, that's coming up at the end of the month. And we've got Tom's 40th. It's a crazy time at the moment. There's so much fun stuff going on. Ron, I'm very aware we're 20 minutes in and we've just not even acknowledged that this is a science podcast.
No, but do you know what we're covering today, Laura?
Life.
3.1.3.3 metallic bonding, which I think is the only thing you've ever remembered.
That's where you pull the electrons.
Yeah, what's the sort of sciencey term for pooling electrons?
Metallic bonding.
That's right, they're delocalized from the
Delocalized.
from the atoms themselves, and they flow freely through the lattice.
Wow.
Yes. That's it. That's what we're covering.
freely through the lattice. Feels like a song lyric, doesn't it? And then they flow freely through the lattice. Could be Coldplay.
Oh my god,
Flow. Flow freely. Sorry, yes?
this hotel that we were staying in next to the beach. It was absolutely lovely, but it was just the noises were just kind of unhinged.
What?
Like the first evening we were there, they had a guy called Jimmy Sax who came and played a saxophone just through a microphone at full volume for about an hour and a half, just in the middle of the evening.
Wow.
That was really interesting.
Did he play Baker Street?
No.
What?
The only song he did that I recognised was Careless Whisper, I think.
Why wouldn't you play Baker Street? That's crazy.
I didn't bring it up with Jimmy Sax, man. I don't know.
Is he on social media?
Maybe.
Jimmy Sax. I'm going to have a look on Instagram. Whoops, no, that says Jimmy Sad. Jimmy Sax?
He loves a hat.
He's got 225,000 Instagram followers, Ron.
Fair play.
Let's have a play. Oh, he's wearing a sort of sheer velour shirt.
Oh, he's Belgian.
No, play your saxophone. He's doing it in a cowboy hat. Was he wearing a cowboy hat when you saw him?
Didn't see him. Just heard it because it was so loud.
Wow, that's really something. Do you know
Yeah.
what, Jimmy Sax? You get a follow from me.
And then...
Boom.
And then...
Last single, Toi and Moi, available everywhere.
and
And
then
his manager is called Wonder Manage.
the place was also a wedding venue, and there was a wedding every day we were there.
Wow.
And some of them just pumped the bass until like 1 a.m. And then we were obviously just like chilling on the beds on the beach for most of the time we were there. They would play a playlist, but they just have like one playlist each day, and some of the playlists were only like 3 hours long, so you just get repeats. I heard, what's that Chapel Roan song about like a horse event?
The Pink Pony Club.
Yeah, I heard that song so many times.
Yeah. It's a good one though. Like, it's not the worst one. Lots of Taylor. Did you have to listen to lots of Taylor Swift?
Wouldn't recognise it if I did. I don't mind the Pink Pony Club, but it does something that really annoys me in songs where the bridge is way catchier than the chorus.
Oh.
Hang on. Yeah, because the pre-chorus bit where it's like, God, what have you done? You're a parent, you got to, I'm just having fun. Like that bit's really good. And then the chorus that's just pink, pony, that's really boring to me. And I get really hyped during the pre-chorus, and then I find it a massive letdown when the chorus kicks in.
Is it because you're not an overly emotive person needing to just chant whilst jumping in a dance situation?
Potential. Yeah.
Like, do you remember when that song, Are We Human? Or Are We Dancer? Do you remember when that was big? Ron? I think Ron's internet died. But it really feels like he does not like that song and has therefore left the chat. More technical gremlins. He's back. Gremlins. Gremlins.
I'm back for good. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about Chapel Roan. Yeah, maybe I've not listened to it in the right thing, but yeah, like I say, that pre-chorus slaps, and then for me, the chorus is flat.
Okay. I'll see if she's in Rome, I guess. I'll pop by Alice's place and look for the photos. Then I'll see if I can hunt down Chapel Roan and tell her.
You don't tell her that I think the chorus is flat, but I think just like tell her Ron says the pre-chorus is, more of that, please.
I've got a better idea, Ron. You become a rival pop star called Chapel Ron.
That would be a good drag act for me, potential.
Yes. And you, all of your song slaps. There's not a moment where we're not slapping. By the end of every album, we're exhausted from slapping.
Yeah. Slap, 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 slap.
Yeah. We'll be busy planning your wedding.
She's got a pretty draggable look, I think, as well.
I think she sort of almost is drag already, isn't she?
It's very stylized makeup, for sure.
Yeah. I think she's almost like a female drag queen, isn't she? So it'd be hard to know how you'd pastiche it. Fuck. I tried to yo-yo and I just threw my yo-yo across the room. Pink Pony Club. Delocalized from the atoms.
That's the science of today.
Yeah. I have to go back and do a gig tonight, Ron, that I did last year. And as I was leaving last year, some young people, I was doing my bit about the love handles, in jeans and stuff.
Why
and
is
as
it
I
cold?
was leaving,
I think about that all the time.
It's cold, isn't it? As I was leaving, two young people were like, I just don't get it though. Why doesn't she just buy jeans that fit? And I think about it all the time. And I I think, because then it isn't funny. But I just like the concept of being young and being like, but she's choosing to do that, even though she looks stupid. And how nice it is to be older and go, yeah, it's funnier my way.
Yeah.
Than just buying jeans that fit and having no jokes.
The purity
very
of
funny to me.
thinking everything that you hear in a comedy show is true.
Yeah. Why doesn't she just buy jeans that fit? Yeah.
I mean, you can't fault the logic.
No. Yeah. Could have paid for IVF and not done trying as well. She could have had a very different life, really.
Yeah, you could have not done any of this. Laura, do you ever regret all of the things that you've done?
All these things that I've done. Why doesn't she just buy jeans that fit? I hope those people aren't there again this year. I'm not going to do that material just in case.
I think you should. Well, you've got to tell that story, though, no?
Yeah, probably. I'll see how that works. I do have to do 40 minutes, so I've got time.
Do you have any, really old jeans in the back of the cupboard and you can, rock up in even more ill-fitting jeans?
I don't know if I could borrow some of Child of the Podcast's leggings.
Or some of Tom's jeans.
Yeah. I could do a reverse bit all about how my jeans are way too big.
Yeah. And it's hot.
Doesn't she
Not
just
cold.
buy jeans that fit? It's a great
I'm
point.
about to make some bruschetta, have a little
Ooh.
bit of lunch, and then today, because I also only got we only got back at midnight last night, so we're sleepy. We need a chill.
Wow, you had a long holiday, didn't you?
Really did, yeah.
Was it 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
Jeez.
But before that, I was travelling for work. I had to go to Dublin, so I've been away for a really long time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, boy. We'll have to cut this out, but okay, Ron, is there anything else I need to know about metallic bonding?
Let me just scan these notes. Have you written down the word lattice as well? Write that down.
Yes. I've written down metallic bonding, question mark, question mark, question mark. I've underlined that. Then I've written delocalized, and I've done like dash underline under that from the atoms, full stop. Then I've put flow freely through the lattice.
Nice. Yeah, and we know this. It's the positively charged atoms, or ions at this point, basically, stuck together with the jammy concrete that is the negatively charged electrons. We understand it. How come metals can conduct electricity, Laura?
By flowing it through the electrons.
Yeah, the electrons move through it. You know everything you need to know about metallic bonding.
Stuck together with a negative electron jam. The electricity is from the movement of the electrons. Electricity, electrons.
That's the thing.
That's the thing, man. That's what it is. Well, get ready for a 100% quiz, everybody.
Yeah, boy.
That was a nice ease back in. A big congratulations to Ron. Everybody's happy.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I'm great as well. And, yeah. See you for the quiz.
Okay, we return for the quiz now. Laura, for 3 marks, please describe what metallic bonding is. I'll leave a pause now for your answer.
Oh, this is so weird. It's me. I've literally just listened to this episode, but I don't really remember covering this. I do remember, congratulations there, Ron's engaged. It's also pouring with rain and I'm going camping in 3 hours. This is very different to the week I have spent in the glorious 30-degree heat of Rome. Anyway, what is metallic bonding? It is when metal atoms delocalize their electrons and then they pool them into a central pool of electrons, and the electrons flow freely through the lattice, thank you Coldplay, and pass on electricity. Wait, no, like pass on charge. Pass on charge. I stopped recording for a second then and then clicked record again. I think it's pass on charge.
No, you fucking idiot. That's not what metallic bonding is. Metallic bonding is when all of the atoms delocalize their electrons and share them. Remember we talked about the electrons being the jam between the atoms. The atoms are obviously, well, the atoms, the ions, they are positively charged because of the nucleus, and they've lost some electrons. The electrons are negatively charged, welds it all together. We've described it in the past as jam or communism. We've talked about this multiple times. You should have got that right.
Well, that was brutal to listen to, but now I'll play the version. He did actually prepare one for if I got that right. I just hate that he went to so much trouble to assume I'd get it wrong.
Well done, Laura.
Thank you, Ron. First time you've ever said that on the podcast. Ever.
Absolutely. As we've covered many, many times, that's exactly what metallic bonding is. And I won't repeat it because you so flawlessly put that together. Well done. 3 marks for you.
What a sarcastic twat Ron's turned out to be.
And now on to question number 2. Laura, why are metals able to conduct electricity?
Wait, is this not what we just did? Did I not just say that? I guess he can't hear in case that was right. They can conduct electricity because the electrons are delocalized, so they can pass freely through, taking negative charge with them through the structure. I'm not going to get full points for that. I can feel it. I deserve whatever sarcasm is about to come up.
No, you fucking idiot. That's not how they're able to conduct electricity. What a shameful, stupid, small answer that was. Be ashamed and throw yourself down on the ground and writhe like a worm for your bad answering. Idiot.
Joke's on him. I was already writhing on the floor like a worm.
Wow, so smart today, Laura. So smart indeed. That's exactly how metals can conduct electricity. I'm proud of you, and I love you dearly as a sister and, let's admit it, as a friend. And as a colleague, I guess, as we make this podcast and we go into our hundreds of episodes. What a journey we've been on, and it's really nice that we got to do it all together. Well done. You've learnt that. Congrats.
Okay, so he didn't actually give me the answer there, so I have no idea which one of those I deserved. There's no way for me to know. Let's assume I think I knew it, but I didn't explain it well. No points.
And that's the episode. There it is. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope the quiz wasn't too weird. I'm sure you wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't have mentioned that we didn't record that at the time. No new patrons this week. But hopefully some next week, because I did such a stellar plug at the top of the app this time. Get on the Discord if you're on there, and let us know what you liked about this week's episode, whether you liked the solo intros, maybe you want us to do them solo more often. Did you like the stilted, weird quiz at the end? I'm excited to hear it. I might actually listen to this episode. That should be fun. Interested to see what Laura does with that. I guess that's probably all I've got to say. Apart from enjoy September, back to school. Yeah, and that's probably it, really. So love you, and class dismissed. This has been Ron. Goodbye.